In this tutorial, we'll learn about Java programming and how it is used to build applications. This Java program demonstrates the basic structure of a Java application. It defines a class named Hello World, which serves as a container for the program's code. Inside the class is the main method, which is the entry point of every Java application. When the Java virtual machine, JVM, executes the program, it begins running from this method. The main method contains a single statement, system out println hello, Java. This statement uses Java's standard output stream to display text on the console. The message hello, Java is enclosed in quotation marks because it is a string literal, and the print method prints the text followed by a new line. This program introduces several important Java concepts, including classes, methods, statements, comments, and console output. It is often the first example used when learning Java because it provides a clear demonstration of how a Java program is organized and executed. Running this program confirms that the Java development environment is correctly set up and that the compiler and JVM are functioning as expected. This Java program demonstrates how variables are used to store different types of data. Variables act as named containers that hold information which can be accessed, modified, and manipulated throughout the execution of a program. They are one of the most fundamental concepts in programming because they allow developers to store values and perform operations on them. Inside the main method, 3 variables are declared and initialized with values. The variables stock and bond are of type int, which means they store whole numbers. These variables represent numerical values that can be used in calculations. The variable message is of type string, which is used to store text. After declaring the variables, the program performs a simple arithmetic operation by adding the values stored in stock and bond. The result of this addition is stored in another integer variable named total investment. This process shows how variables can be used to hold intermediate results of calculations. Finally, the program displays the output on the console using the system out println method. It combines the text stored in the message variable with the value stored in total investment. This process is known as string concatenation, where text and numerical values are joined together to create a complete message. The program then prints the final result, demonstrating how variables, arithmetic operations, and output statements work together in a Java application. This output allows the user to see the result of the calculation in a clear and readable format. Through this simple example, the program introduces several important programming concepts, including variable declaration, data types, value assignment, arithmetic operations, string concatenation, and console output. This Java program demonstrates how conditional statements are used to make decisions based on specific conditions. Conditional statements allow a program to execute different blocks of code depending on whether a condition evaluates to true or false. This is an essential programming concept that enables applications to respond dynamically to different situations. The program begins by declaring an integer variable named stock and assigning it a value of 10. This variable stores the number of stocks purchased and will be used to determine which message should be displayed to the user. Next, the program uses an if-else statement to evaluate a condition. The condition stock equals 5 checks whether the value stored in the stock variable is greater than or equal to 5. Since the value of stock is 10, the condition evaluates to true. The statement system out println you have purchased 5 or more stock displays a message indicating that the user has purchased at least 5 stocks. This output is shown on the console. If the value of stock had been less than 5, the condition would have evaluated to false. In that case, the code inside the else block would have been used instead. The else block contains a different message that informs the user that fewer than 5 stocks have been purchased. This example illustrates how decision-making logic works in Java. It introduces important concepts such as variables, comparison operators, Boolean conditions, and the if-else statement. These concepts are widely used in real-world applications to validate data, control program flow, and perform different actions based on user input. This Java program demonstrates how a simple budgeting application can be built using variables, arithmetic operations, formatted output, and conditional statements. The goal of the program is to simulate a monthly financial summary by tracking income, expenses, and determining whether the user is within or over budget. It is a practical example of how programming can be applied to real-life financial situations. The program begins by defining a class named budget, which contains the main method. The main method serves as the entry point of the program, meaning execution starts from this point when the program is run. Inside the method, several variables are declared using the double data type. The double type is used because it allows the program to store decimal values, which are essential for representing money accurately. The variable monthly income is initialized with a value of 4,500.00, representing the total income earned in a month. In addition, the program defines 3 expense variables: rent, groceries, and utilities. Each of these variables holds a specific cost associated with monthly living expenses. For example, rent represents housing costs, groceries represent food expenses, and utilities represent services such as electricity, water, and internet. After storing the financial values, the program performs calculations to determine the user's overall financial position. It calculates total expenses by adding together the values of rent, groceries, and utilities. This step shows how arithmetic operations can be used to combine multiple values stored in variables. Once the total expenses are calculated, the program computes the remaining balance by subtracting total expenses from monthly income. This value represents how much money is left after all monthly expenses have been paid. The program then displays a structured financial report using the system-out-printf method. This method is particularly useful because it allows formatted output, making the numbers appear more readable and professional. Each financial value is displayed with a $sign and 2 decimal places, which is standard formatting for currency. The report includes a header titled Monthly Budget Summary, followed by lines for total income, total expenses, and remaining balance. In this program, each financial value is formatted to look like currency. The $sign is added manually, and the format specifier %.2f is used to ensure that the numbers are displayed with 2 decimal places. This is important for financial calculations because money values are typically expressed in cents, even when they are whole numbers. The comma in the format also helps improve readability by separating large numbers into thousands, making the output easier to understand at a glance. By structuring the output in this way, the program becomes more user-friendly and professional-looking. It presents financial data in a format that resembles a real-world budgeting report. This approach is commonly used in business applications, accounting software, and financial dashboards where clarity and precision are essential. This section of the program demonstrates how formatting output is just as important as performing calculations, especially when dealing with financial information. After presenting the financial summary, the program evaluates the user's budget status using an if-else statement. The condition checks whether remaining balance is less than 0. If this condition is true, it means the user has spent more money than they earned, and the program prints a warning message stating that the user is over budget. If the condition is false, it means the user still has money remaining, and the program prints a message indicating that the user is within budget. This demonstrates how decision-making logic can be used to provide meaningful feedback based on calculated results. This example highlights several important programming concepts in Java, including class structure, the main method, variables, data types, arithmetic operations, formatted output, and conditional statements. It also shows how these concepts can be combined to create a small but practical application. Budgeting programs like this form the foundation for more advanced financial software, such as banking systems, expense trackers, and personal finance applications. This course on Java programming introduces the essential building blocks needed to understand how Java applications work. Through simple examples, we explored how programs are structured using classes and the main method, which serves as the starting point. We also learned how variables are used to store different types of data, such as numbers and text, and how these values can be used in calculations and output. We further saw how Java allows programs to make decisions using conditional statements like if and else, enabling the program to respond differently based on different conditions. In addition, we explored how formatted output using system-out-printf can make results more readable and professional. especially when working with financial or numerical data.